Why does winning feel like betrayal? The cost of the level up. Meet Leo. For 10 years, Leo's world was a cracked vinyl booth at The Local, surrounded by Sarah and Mike. They were his home, a trio bound by the shared gravity of dead-end jobs and a mutual hatred for Monday mornings. They bonded over the same struggles and the same fears. But lately, a quiet kind of pain has moved into the booth next to them. It arrived politely, not with a bang, but with a realization that the people who once felt like home now feel like distant echoes. Leo didn't leave them on purpose, he just kept growing. While Mike still cracks the same jokes that don't land anymore, and Sarah nods politely when Leo mentions his new business venture, the silence afterward is deafening. Leo finds himself shrinking his thoughts and editing his wins just to keep the peace. Why does winning feel like betrayal? Leo is currently in the great emotional limbo. He's no longer the version of himself that fit into that booth, but he isn't yet surrounded by people who match the man he's becoming. He's floating. He misses them. He misses the version of himself that didn't overthink every beer or feel guilty for dreaming bigger. But growth always costs something. Sometimes it's comfort, and sometimes it's the people you love. Society shows the glow-up highlight reel, but it ignores the quiet nights where Leo wonders if he's become too different to belong anywhere. He asks himself, why does success feel heavier than failure? It's because growth separates before it unites. Leo isn't being cruel, he's practicing a consequence of self-respect. He simply stopped abandoning himself, and that changed the entire map. The nervous system's lie. One night, Mike invites Leo to a party. Leo's stomach knots. His mind knows he's evolving, but his body feels like it's losing safety. For most of history, being cast out of the tribe meant death, so Leo's nervous system interprets this social shift as a survival threat. He considers shrinking back just to keep the connection alive, but peace that requires self-betrayal is just a postponement of the inevitable. He's starting to feel drained after conversations that once energized him. He feels misunderstood even when he's being heard. The realization is Leo isn't losing friends, he's mourning shared futures that will never happen. This is invisible grief, the hardest kind to explain because nothing bad actually happened. Leo eventually realizes that staying the same to protect Sarah and Mike will only turn into resentment, and resentment erodes love faster than distance ever could. They don't necessarily miss him, they miss access to the predictable version of him that made them feel comfortable. His growth isn't a competition or a judgment on their worth, it's just a revelation of alignment, or the lack of it. Leo can love them deeply and still accept they can't walk where he's going. He can honor the memories without forcing a future that no longer fits. He stops blaming himself for the change. He isn't discarding people, he's choosing a more honest connection with himself. Growth will always change who walks beside you, but it brings you home to who you are, and that is something to respect, not regret.